of the Hill 2 It is finally here, and folks, we will not have a defending champ because our boy Tonka's here knocked out Philly Hellmuth in a marathon session last night, so he is now set to battle the Adonis himself, Mr. Olivier Busquet. Your match went deep into the night last night. Are there any concerns about fatigue heading into tonight?
No chance. I got about 7 hours, which is, more than enough. We're good to go.
Excellent. And how about you? I did get some more water for you. I just need to get you.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
It's cold tonight.
Yeah, you spilled it all over me last time.
Well, I should say we did send your urine test to the lab. The results are pending. So I can't confidently say if he's clean. So you're just gonna have to trust that you could be playing against a compromised, juiced up man. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with it, right? Because if it comes back that he was juiced up, then he's disqualified, and I win it anyway. So it's pretty good.
You have a lot of confidence right now. I mean, you beat the best no-limit hold'em player in the world last night.
In the world.
Ergo, that makes you the best no-limit hold'em player, correct?
That's exactly how it works. It also makes me better than Jungle Man and Douglas Polk.
That's correct. So how do you feel playing against the best no-limit hold'em player in the world?
I mean, I guess there's no pressure, right?
There's no pressure. And
No, stop. This is like, actually, that's how it is for me. There's no pressure for me, okay? He's really good. Whatever.
No.
He's really good. There's no pressure for me. It's not the other way around.
There's an immense amount of pressure for both of these men. Not only are they playing for $200,000, but they are playing for this belt, the title belt, and also this crown that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I got to see kind of Cinderella if the shoe fits.
Okay.
I think it could work. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know. We'll see. All right, we are going to get the cards in the air in just a sec. We're going to throw it to the booth. It's the King of the Hill 2 finals. Let's go.
Okay, we're here. Okay, cool.
Can you hear me now?
I don't even know what song that is.
Come on,
I don't even know what
that's
song
not a
that is.
song.
All right,
That's
everyone.
like from a movie.
It's from a movie? Okay, well, I don't watch the movie, so story checks out. I want to welcome everyone to the grand finals of King of the Hill 2. I'm going to be your host today, Doug Polk, and
Damn
I'm
it.
joined in the booth. You're already tilted?
Damn it!
You're already
because
mad?
I'm not there. I played this guy
Now-
3 hours. I beat him for the
Now you
first
know-
match. It took me 3.5 hours to lose the second match to him. I had him down to 20,000 and 30,000 and 20,000.
You had him right there. Honestly, it looked, it looked over. You had him down to 18.
It looked over. I didn't
I
panic.
think you had him down to
was-
18,000 in the second match.
I was
second
super
round.
comfortable, just waiting, and waiting.
What happened? How did it fall apart?
Well, you watched the goddamn thing.
There was a flush. I did see a pretty
Flush over flush.
a pretty
ended it.
clutch flush. I did see that. And then actually, wait, yeah,
That was in the final match.
Flushes actually got you twice pretty good.
Yeah.
The flushes, they're hard to.
As
hard
you
to
would like to
that's how
say,
you got me. The
Flush got you hard.
got me hard.
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 Okay, there you go. All right, guys. So today we've got our grand final between Olivier Busquet and Parker Talbot coming in here. Who do you like in the finals, Phil?
Well, I think it's interesting because Olivier Busquet has all of the experience. And Olivier Busquet, I mean, just an amazing player. Everybody knows him. He has all of the math. And Parker Talbot, here's the interesting thing about him. If he plays like he played against me and can get away from some of the right now, all of you kids think it's correct to raise 87% of the buttons or 100%
28 years
of the
old,
buttons.
still getting called a kid over here.
And and a lot of us don't think that that's right. And so I think if Busquet raises 90% of the buttons and Talbot doesn't, then Talbot's going to actually have an edge. But the funny thing is, your whole generation thinks the opposite.
Well, we actually have a lot of different opinions on that from my generation. I think most people are kind of in the 80 to 90% range. But we're going to continue this conversation, but we're going to take it live. I believe cards are in the air, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get that live feed up. We can keep talking about some button opening strategies. Let's take it down to the felt.
Bring it, Poke.
And you're going to have to win 2 of the 3 rounds to become our second King of the Hill here and the new belt holder. They actually have a new belt, Phil, so we're good to go.
Yeah, thank God, because I left the belt at home just thinking I won this. I'm not giving it back.
That's
right?
fair.
That's
That's fair.
No one told me to bring it back.
Dream, declare, deliver, they say.
Yeah, that's right. I like that. We're espousing like good philosophies,
Thanks.
good positivity early on. dream,
Good luck, sir.
declare,
Good luck, man.
deliver.
Hashtag positivity. Couple good lucks from the players, but they don't mean it.
Let's see what Tonka does. Yeah, he was exactly 2x all of our match until match 3, and he started making a little bit more.
Right. You actually played some pretty loose hands against that.
Yes.
I saw a couple pretty wide defense.
Yeah, and I started re-raising him too.
I know. You had
Roar.
that. That's for sure.
Obviously, great flop for ace-7. Oh, I'm surprised he just didn't fire and take it.
Check on the flop. 9 on the turn. Either player improves.
Check.
You're content to check it down unless a king or a 3 hits. Oh, that might work out well for Tonk.
Yeah, I think if I'm in Tonka's shoes here on the river, you gotta feel pretty good about the ace. You know, double paired
Yeah,
board.
bet 2K.
King.
Oh,
Woo.
what? Check
Woo.
down an ace?
Whew.
He flipped over king like I have the nuts, Busquet did. And of course, it looked like he had the nuts. I would have done the
Well,
same
tight.
thing. I had a king.
Maybe he was worried about getting check raised.
I mean, okay. You didn't like the way he played it. I didn't like the way he played it. What do you bet on the river with the
Hey,
ace
look,
there?
Phil. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying maybe that's why he decided to check.
Yeah. I
Right.
would have bet 2,000 on the river. What do you bet?
I believe you. I think I
3?
probably bet something in that vicinity. I think it
Yeah.
looks good.
That was the whole thing I gave you back, right? We're even, right?
Yeah, man, we're good. How'd you do?
Good. Almost 5K.
Yeah, sick. Especially after that start.
Yeah.
Players are referring to a 10-20 game that we played before the sesh here. The big loser there, of course, was me, who just couldn't help himself, Phil. I had to try and bluff. Tonka, and he gave me the, well, I have top pair, and then called me, and I was like, oh, well, that's going to take it down. That's exactly what happened. And he's doubled him up. Yeah, it was great. Already raised 3-bet here. Tonka will win.
With pocket 9s, seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded playing in that game. Instead, I went and played heads up with
What
Shaun,
size is that?
the best,
9,000.
basically open face pineapple player in the world, and I paid for that decision by losing about 3,000.
Oh, man, he got you.
Yeah, but it's not over.
But he has a family. He has a family, though.
I've been very lucky against him at smaller stakes, so it's not over yet.
Nice.
We still will be playing during the broadcast. If I'm out of the booth for a few minutes, I'll pop in and out, and then Shaun and I will play.
Sounds good. And a button fold from Tonka. 10's in the big blind for Busquet. Worked out there.
Tonka is just interesting. He literally raised, and I'm maybe off 1 or 2 hands. He raised maybe 100% of the hands in the
So you
first
liking
and
Jersey
second
then? How long
match.
you been there for?
Maybe
year.
folded twice.
A year?
Little
You
and
liking
we
it?
played a long time.
Yeah, I love it.
You know
I love
anyone
where
else
I
there?
live.
You have any friends there, or you just moved out there solo to?
Well, you know, I'm
play?
from Manhattan,
Okay.
and I live like 20 minutes out of Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so all my family and friends are there mostly.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, and then I actually do have some college buddies who live in like pretty close to me in Jersey.
I love the amount of black chips in play, Phil.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
very necessary. You're playing 500, 1,000. Let's give him 2 racks of black.
right. Now, all of the people at home, though, when you're watching, look at this, a flush draw against top pair. But all the people at home are like, you know, a lot of people play for one of those little black chips. Look on top of Tonka stacks. That might be the buy-in for a lot of games.
For
or
sure.
less.
For sure,
And that's
or
just
less.
kind of normal and standard. And I mean, I think when you have $25 chips in a game, it's a decent-sized game in most home games.
Definitely. Bet here from Busquet with his 7-high flush draw. Call from Tonka, he's played this hand pretty conservatively.
Super conservative at this point. I expect check because it's hard for Busquet to bluff in 10.
I think Busquet might consider firing here. You know, he can have ace-king, and Tonka will be re-raising that pre. He could have bet king-9 or 9-8. He could have a hand like, you know, any of the sets or queen-jack. I think that when you have a flush draw here, it's pretty tempting to keep barreling and get your opponent off of a bunch of, you know, either ace-high or,
Yeah, I like
or
his
pairs.
check. He did check, and the reason why I like the check is because of because basically the 10 of spades came off. So that means that if Tonk had a straight draw, he's going to make a pair of 10s with a straight draw and continue, or he's going to make a straight.
Right.
So basically, Busquet is it's going to be very tough for him to move him with the 10 of spades on the turn. Now, if Busquet would have hit a different card, say, you know, I don't know, a random 6 instead of the 10 of spades, then he might have fired again.
Definitely a good point. 10 is certainly a better card for Tonka than some of those other turns. This is getting kind of interesting, though. Nice little trap on the river from Tonka.
Nice check.
Do you think this bet's going to get through, Phil?
It's a matter of how quickly it's called. He's never raising, so I don't even know why he's studying more than 10 seconds here.
Well, maybe he's
going
thinking...
to call in the next second.
You
There it
would.
is. It took him 11 seconds. That was a little slow.
Yeah. Bit of a knit roll, if you will.
Well, there were 3 spades on board. I mean, if it was an offsuit 9, then the river would have played a little differently.
I would hope after check, check, turn, the 9 river would play a bit different if it was offsuit.
Yes. I would hope that Tonk got the check raise in there.
So let's actually talk for a moment here about the third round of your match yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, it's one apiece, coming down to the final one.
Sneaky.
And I noticed something in the booth. I noticed that you were really going after his opens. You know, and I was saying to Busquet, because he was in the booth with
Are
me.
my headphones down a little bit? It does sound like they're down. How do I turn up the level?
I think this is your level, so you can.
No, I'm talking about my speaking level.
Oh, your speaking level. I would just put the mic a little closer to your mouth.
All right, go ahead. Continue,
and-
sorry.
Yeah, no problem at all. So we were talking, and I said that you were playing. You had a different gear for that third round. You were re-raising a lot of hands. King 4 suited. I can't seem to remember a lot of them off the top of my head.
You
here.
just didn't play next
Jack
weekend
4
after?
off, I think, or Jack 3
The one that we
off.
just played in?
Yeah.
5-4 suited.
I don't think so.
No?
No.
10.
Is that
Yeah,
what
there was a
is that what you're playing?
variety
I
of
don't know.
re-raises. So what were your thoughts there?
what
Why
Doug
did
would
you
do, I guess.
decide that it was time to start going for it so hard?
I mean, listen. It's like if they're going to raise 87% of the buttons, that means, or 90% of the buttons, that means they're going to have a lot of weak hands. So that means they can't call a lot of re-raises. So I just started re-raising, thinking that he would fold, and I was picking up free chips that way.
Right.
I got him down to like 34,000 in the third match, which was also annoying to get him low in all 3 spots.
Well, your strategy was going awesome. I mean, you had. I mean, I think he almost always just folded to the 3. I mean, there was one call, and I think you had Jack 4 offsuit hit a 4, or Jack 3 offsuit hit a 3, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, I was picking up a lot of free chips, and then he finally adjusted in the third match, where he stopped raising every button because he just saw that I was just re-raising big and just taking it away from him.
Right.
It's
By
a
the
good
way,
adjustment.
we have Busquet picking up a pot here with the 8 high.
Yeah, he had a straight draw, so.
A little early lead for Tonka, but you know.
The thing about Tonka is like, I mean, I feel
I guess
like
it depends how late it goes,
he,
but
he has
I
really.
wouldn't mind getting like a decent meal.
That could be nice, actually, yeah. Yeah, I could be in for that.
Well, Tonka.
What
and
do
I
you
were
like if you
talking
go for a
about,
nice
like,
meal?
I think actually
Probably
Olivier enjoys
steak
the
and
blood of his
sushi would
enemies.
be my 2 go-tos.
That's me too.
Steak and
But
sushi.
I'm open-minded.
Me too.
2 classics.
Now, you know,
Steak and sushi.
Tonk and I, when we finished our
those are good things.
first match yesterday, we went to get some food together. And then
They're a
we
big
said,
part of
"All
my,
right,
like,
listen, no
day-
matter what, we're going to go out
day-to-day
drinking after this. Well, of course, the match ended
Yeah,
up
I've been
2
cooking steak
and
a lot
bar time
recently.
was
Check.
2.
Yeah,
You were going to go drinking with us too, by the way.
I was.
Yeah.
Instead, I was trying to dance for our viewers to stay while you guys got sandwiches. I hope it was a good sandwich, Phil. I had to hang out with the mans for 30 minutes.
Well, we certainly didn't mean to, like, that was on us. We ordered some food, and there was a line, and we just didn't realize, and we were in the line pretty quick. We didn't realize it was going to take that long. So, interesting hand here. So, basically, Tonk raised with King 9. Now he's flopped second pair. Of course, had to bet it. And Busquet needs a jack or a queen.
Check.
Bink!
Pretty good turn, and the spade to go along with it in case his opponent has anything too strong. But I think that even though that this turn is great for Olivier, I just can't really see Tonka putting in too much more money here.
No, I think exactly. I don't even think he's going to pay off a river. So I think what's going to happen here is Busquet's going to bet maybe 4,600, and I think that Tonka is going to fold very quickly.
Yeah, I think he'll bet a little bigger. But it's kind of a tough spot for Tonka. You know, he does have a 9. Maybe his opponent would turn a 3 or an ace high into a bluff. Maybe his opponent has a hand like 8-6 or 7-6. And there aren't many hands that he beats, but he does beat some.
What's the bet? 6K.
Ship It Up says 2 classy men playing poker, 2 classy men commentating. Much appreciated, man.
don't know. Should we read all of the stuff in there?
I don't
think
know.
There's some
I don't know
They
if
might
you-
have said some bad stuff in there at one point about me.
I don't know how much you've read the chat here on Twitch, but you're going to get a nice little grab back. And you were right. He lays it down.
Yeah. It's just too dangerous a card. The straight, the flush, and the overcards all hit.
Nice hand.
It did indeed.
Yeah, it's interesting. Hey, we're getting some love. Look at this.
Let's rephrase that. You
Wanna
are
get
getting some
complaining
love.
against Phil.
I am just here.
Well, I don't. Oh,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
one that's been deleted.
I would
Oh
assume.
boy, I wonder what that one was.
Quite unique.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. It's to watch. Oh, Busquet folded a button.
I feel like it's way colder in here today.
Yeah, I feel okay, but I'm wearing. This is pretty warm. What I'm wearing.
My hands are just cold.
Check
My
out
hand- my hands have
Briar's
been cold
pub
too,
near the
actually.
casino.
They might turn the AC
You are
up a
pretty
little
decent, Doug.
higher
Thanks,
because
man.
it's so hot outside. I'm not sure.
By the way, we have the special King of the Hill 2 belt. We got 2 on the side representing the King of the Hill edition. The winner of this match will come back to defend their title on October 25th and 26th at the Sugar House Casino in Philadelphia.
Well, I
So what
was
are your
kind
plans?
of
Are you going to be
expecting.
traveling, playing live tournaments?
I'm going right to London.
Oh, okay. Is it a party poker thing?
No, 8 at 8.
Oh, okay, right.
So we have 8 at 8 live London. I think it's a 2K main event.
Yeah, okay. I remember
Um,
you were talking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
At lunch, I think.
So going
yesterday.
directly there after this for a week, and then nothing until Rosvedov WSOP.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember you. I think you had told Phil that you would see him in.
Yeah,
Roswell.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
You?
I couldn't have been here to defend if I would have won this.
I think best bet in Jacksonville.
Well, it worked out for the best. You lost.
Best bet in
No,
Jacksonville.
who did
What's
not?
that?
WPT.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Would
do
you
a bunch
would you
of the
say you
WPTs,
purposefully
and,
lost to
I haven't
make
been
sure
here for a
that
few
the
years.
winner could be here? Did you take it easy on him, Phil?
No. No, I mean, I actually had great patience in the second match. You know, I got him down to 20,000 right away, 18. He kind of made a nice little run there. He won 5-6 hands in a row. We somehow got it back to like 27-30, and I'm
25.
like, Phil, don't panic. You still have 70 to his 30. I mean, which is a very, rather than tilt or get upset, I just waited and waited and waited, and then unfortunately, it didn't work out for me from that point forward. But
You know, when the blinds get high in these things, really just about
Yeah, I
anything
haven't,
can
like,
happen.
yeah, I mean,
Taken
we were
a
playing
long trip
12,
for poker in
24
quite a while.
blinds
Like,
Yeah, I
average.
got
with
pretty-
100K.
I'm going to Australia for the
Yeah.
first time.
For Aussie Millions?
Yeah.
Nice.
Have you been to
I've never
Australia?
been.
Are you going this year?
When is it? It's January, right?
Yeah, I think it's
Honestly,
mid to end of January.
I might go because it's either PCA or that, right? And I
mean,
hate PCA.
you can do both.
You can do both. Yeah, if you do, yeah.
Yeah, but it's
I'm not
obviously-
going to both. I don't
Right.
think I don't know if I'll ever go to PCA again.
Have you been to PCA, Phil?
Once. One time.
How'd you like
And
that?
I
You
thought
know
it was
they made
fine.
You know they made
I
it a
thought it
10K
was
PCA
fine.
again.
Yeah. I just
There's nothing they can do.
I
for
don't like the
You're-
venue.
you're
I
lost.
don't like.
I'm planning
I
on
just don't
going
really
to
like
PCA
Montreal,
this
to be
year.
honest.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I
cool.
hear you.
I've been to Australia. I have not been to PCA. I really like
Ever?
going to Australia. No, I've never been to PCA.
I love Australia too. Melbourne's
Yeah.
just nice.
And
Oh,
I've
for
always
sure.
wanted to go to Aussie Millions.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And I mean,
Um,
for me, it's been
I've
really.
never pulled the trigger because it's a fucking 24-hour flight or whatever.
Yeah, I've been to PCA like
So I went to Aussie.
at least 8 or 9 years in a row.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, and so
Are you gonna do both, or are you skipping?
I haven't decided. I think I might just do Aussie Millions, but I haven't decided.
I think PCA was the second like actual like series I ever went to.
Oh, really?
Maybe it was the first actually.
What year was that?
I don't know. Maybe 7 years ago. 2010, maybe
7 years ago. Yeah, that's quite a while.
something like that.
You were young. You were 18.
Look at Tonka. I like the fact. Look, he's
Yeah, I would've
studying
been
right
20, I
here.
think.
He has the ace-5 of clubs.
would've
He
what?
just called. but
20.
The last
At the
time he
time?
snap
Yeah.
called was.
Or
ace
no.
three.
You were 18?
7, 18. Yeah, okay, go. Maybe
He's
sorry.
thinking it
Maybe
over.
it was 2012 then. 2011.
Thinking his options
2012.
over. He's not going to
Right.
be too happy with the flop, though.
No. No, but just a few hands ago, he snap
I
called.
would have been 20.
When
Check.
Busquet raised with ace-queen, and this time it's almost like he sensed a little bit like
Ooh. We could get a little fireworks on a 3-river. That would really be something.
Olivier's gonna, it depends on, like, obviously if he bets 2,000 or 3,000, he gets snapped.
This is a little bit of a big bet, but I think
I think he's calling. I think Tonks, you and I both agree Tonk has to call here because ace high could be the best hand.
very much true.
And he has a straight draw. Wow, good fold. It's a really good fold considering that he needed exactly a 3.
That's what I get for agreeing with you there, Phil. Lesson learned. I would call there, I think. I think you got to call and you got to play some rivers,
I
you know.
would call too.
Damn, that's a
I would
lot,
call
a
too
lot
an
of years in
ace.
a row to go to
I think an
PCA.
ace winner. It's not. but
Usually
yeah.
pretty good.
Right?
I mean, you must.
First of all, I've never like done well, done particularly well. Like I'm down a ton of money there. Yeah, I did kind of like it, and I think it was always because. $23. I think it was always because like I wasn't gonna go to Aussie, so
You just went to that
yeah,
instead.
I never decided like, okay, this is the year I'm gonna go to Aussie Millions until this
Couple
year.
powerful pre-flop hands here.
Check.
So have you been to? So you've been to what? Aussie Millions, but never PCA.
So I've been to Aussie Millions twice. I played on one of the high 6 cash games they had, and then I also played the high rollers. I did okay actually. I think I got third in a
How much?
250K and fourth in a 100K or something like that. So yeah, I mean it's fun, but I really love the city of Melbourne. It's so nice. The food's great, the coffee is great, and it feels like you're cheating, Phil, because you go there in January, and guess what?
What is
Smack
your
dab in the
streaming
middle of
schedule like?
summer.
How often are you doing it?
Whew, warm and toasty.
I try to stick to.
Yep.
Apologies. I try to stick to Tuesday to Thursday, Sunday, and then Saturdays I try to stream as well.
And how much your streams are pretty long?
Generally at least 5 hours.
Okay.
And I would say that average is probably around 7.
The average is 7.
Average is about 7. I mean, some short ones, like if it goes short, it's basically because I've ended it short. I've stopped registering or something.
Streaming
And
can be
it's-
pretty exhausting.
Is it exclusively tournaments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't play cash games. Online.
King 5 versus Jack 4. Brick for both players on ace 10, 5, 2 diamonds. Sorry, Busquet actually does have bottom pair and the backdoor not flush draw, but definitely a brick flop for Tonka. So let's it go. I think it's kind of interesting to see Busquet bet there on the flop. Definitely a hand you could check and try and play a little pot control. What do you like, Phil?
Yeah, I think it was fine. He should bet king high there also, I think, with an ace. It's just, you know.
You
gonna
play any
come out
mix or you
represented.
like
By the
literally
way,
just play?
I
no
don't.
limit? Yeah.
I
eh?
don't. Yeah, I never learned any other games.
I've always been the same, but I've recently been playing some, not much, but like a little bit of mixed, and it's super fun.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it.
There are times where I regret not making more of an
Seven
effort
deuce
to
in the
learn.
muck.
Yeah,
additional
I mean,
games.
especially for how long you've been around, you know.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
Which is a long time.
Just because, not because like you should have in all this time, but just because there was some really good times, like when you could have just learned some games. And
Yeah, and there's just more time you've been around, the more opportunity you
Yeah.
have to have done it. No, that's definitely true.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, you know, learning the mixed games was essential, and you had to do that to make a living back when I first started playing. So, you know, you couldn't find big no limit hold'em games in the 80s. We would have like 2 or 3 a year, and I just was super lucky in those and just crushed. But sometimes it would be the toughest players in the world.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. 9-5-4 flop here. Pair of threes for Tonka, Jack high for Busquet, but he does have position. Might take a stab.
Yeah.
Bet here. A little bit of an awkward spot for Tonka because even if
Yep.
he does think he's ahead, the problem is if his opponent is bluffing, he does have a lot of equity. So it's not really a great spot. Now, he might also think, because he has a diamond, a little more playability on some turns, might be thinking about a call.
For sure. I mean, you know, it's almost like, yeah, and it's such an awkward spot. You said
It
it
is.
well to me. And with threes there, because how many streets are you going to call? You know what I mean? It's almost like a good spot for me personally to think about check raising. Because,
Oh, okay.
you know, I mean, if your opponent needs a 4 or 5 or a 9 to continue, basically,
Right.
they're not going to, generally in these matches, they're not floating with nothing.
I don't mind that. I think that's a interesting play.
It's like, I think my threes are good. I'm going to go ahead and raise. I'm going to raise a big amount so that he has to have a 4 or 5 or 9 to call. And they might fold some fours to me, right?
Certainly could happen. But if you're doing that, then doesn't it not really work out too well? Because, you know, whenever they continue, they have you beat. And when they have a worse hand, they fold. So what's really the goal there? Is to knock out some other hands that
Just
might
to win
improve?
all of that money
It's
lying
gonna
out there, right?
add
I mean,
100 and
he
fold,
bet, what did he
or
bet, 4,000?
add my raise size. Is that okay?
There's, what, 8,000 out there? Or you just having 8 in a stack is a big difference for him, right? He's, you know, it's 112 to 88 versus whatever it is.
Right. Raise 2,500 here from Busquet, and we have a call from Tonka. Sorry, 3,000, not 2,500. Ace, 8, deuce, all diamonds. Busquet flops middle pair. Tonka flops, I think, the actually worst possible hand you can have here. I don't think you can actually have a worse hand. I think if you had to try, tell me a worse hand, Phil.
Yeah, no,
Tell me a worse hand.
You're right. It is. It really is the. Yeah. It's a good observation, right? I mean, the second worst hand, of course, would be 4-6 in that spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was essential to learn the mixed games, and then we would have, you know, 200, 400 games. Back in the 80s, that was a pretty big game, and you probably have
Right.
to multiply that times double, double, double or something to get to, you know. But you'd find nice games in LA, you'd find nice games in Atlantic City, you'd find nice games in Vegas.
Another 6-3 absolute fold in the button from Tonka, and Busquet has 10s again. Did we not see this exact hand earlier?
Yes, super similar. It might have been exactly 6-3 to 10s. You know, and I see that, you know, I think maybe Tonka's made a small adjustment.
So you've been
Maybe
playing poker
yesterday.
since you were like 16, 17?
I never played underage though. Like I did, but like it was always like with my dad
Right.
or my mother.
I never played
Like
underage
we all sort of started playing
But I
together
like I did,
when
but
I was like 15, 16.
Your parents did too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, we
I
used to
think
watch-
he did
we used
fold
to
some
watch
buds versus Phil.
WPTs.
I don't
Cool.
remember how
And then
many
we signed up an
exactly.
account on
but
WPT.com.
Oh, wow.
It's 3, right?
Raise here from Busquet with the 10-4. Call from Tonka with the
Yeah,
Queen
and we all
8.
played together. I mean, not all the time.
Jack, Jack 5. 2 diamonds. Both players brick. Bet from Busquet. Not really too much you can do here with the Queen
He
8.
looked weak when he put those chips into me.
What gave it away to you? What made you feel it?
I mean, it's just like a lifetime of playing, but just the way he threw in the chips and. You know.
Interesting. I actually,
Do they
when I
still
was
play?
watching it, it also looked pretty weak to me.
Yeah. My mom does.
But-
My dad doesn't really.
But it was because I could see his cards in the
But yeah.
bottom left, and they were a 10 and a 4, and I knew that was a
She's
weak
in my
hand.
stream,
on
like,
that
all
flop.
the time. She like
cool.
mods the chat
That's
and
so
stuff.
funny.
She loves
That's
it.
great.
Ooh, ladies! Got like ladies here.
Lady.
Let's see what we got. We got in the big blind here
How
from
much?
Busquet. Got a little pot brewing.
Wow.
Ooh, King
looks
Jack.
interested.
King Jack. Now, I think Busquet would usually call here, but I would not be surprised to see a raise.
11?
He came out with a raise.
Can Tonka possibly continue?
Tonka's going to make it 28, 5,000.
I like it. I like it, 25,000.
It's really weird, though, when you finally pick up queens and
I
they
know.
finally 3-bet you
I
for
know.
the first time.
It's
you
so
know?
good.
Yes,
Like,
it's
he's
good.
looking serious here, right? Like, he's
Yeah.
pretending like, oh, man, this is real serious. But he's just like, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Please don't have aces. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Please don't have it, but yes.
23 and a half.
Okay.
A little smaller. And ooh, snap pulled here from Busquet. And stuff like that is the kind of luck that you don't even really see. You know, it doesn't show on the stat sheet. It doesn't show on your all-in equity.
Well, see, that's where I'd like. See, that hand is a great example to me of a hand where I'd like to think that I could see that Tonk had queens. Like he just did something different. He looked really strong.
Right.
Yesterday I was supposed to go broke when I had ace deuce and he had 2 9s.
You know,
everybody else raises in that spot, and I'm like, God, I have a bad feeling he has it this hand. And I saved my stack. Now it came deuce 3 king. I still lost a few chips, but not nearly as many. And then when he bet the river, I asked him later, what did you
Queens
have?
again for Tonka.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? Back to back. The ladies love Tonka. You know what we should do, Phil?
But think
we
about
should
it.
cover
So
the
that's
cards here.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Busquet potentially, if he knew that Tonka had queens, if he knew he was super strong, he doesn't have to raise with king jack.
He can just call.
And right now, it could come a jack, and you could lose some money.
Right.
Or that's fine. I mean, that can't be helped. But it could also come a king, and he could win a lot of money.
That's true.
So
That's true.
instead of like just throwing 11,000 out there and throwing it into the pisser, you know.
Yeah, if you got a good read, that you could make that.
Right, and
decision.
so that's, you know, I mean, that's ideally, you know.
Phil, you know what we could do? We could cover up the cards here on our end, and then we could talk about what we think they have.
Oh, I would do that. Let's do some betting.
You want to do some betting?
One time I was sitting on a monitor at the World Poker Tour, and I was really on that week.
Right.
And I'm like, he has it, he doesn't have it. He's going to raise, he's going to re-raise. We couldn't see the whole card cameras. And everything I said came to pass for 2 hours. And a big crowd of people was just standing around. He's weak, he's strong. Lane Flack was playing somebody heads up. And I just kept calling there. It was kind of crazy. It was fun.
So what you're saying is I should not bet against you here.
Let's cover it. Let's have some fun. One of us might win 10,000.
We're going high stakes on this?
Has to be like we have to play for some real money.
Some real money. I'm willing to give you some money here, losing to you in this format, but I'm not going to play high stakes reading people against you, Phil. I'm sorry. There are certain things I'm not willing to gamble on for high stakes, and this is going to be one of them. But I'll play some low stakes, a couple thousand or whatnot. All right, so we got a pretty quick hand here. Pretty quick hand.
Yeah. More standard hand.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cover it up if you like. It's kind of more fun.
I don't think that we need like a
Yeah, it's too hard to do. It's too hard to do.
It's kind of hard to physically
Plus,
do
I mean,
it.
then we're like, we're you know, let's let them have the stage.
Maybe we'll do.
You and I are having some fun.
We are, Phil.
We're trying.
It's always
we're trying to be
good.
respectful.
It's always good to work together, man.
I always have fun.
I always like
have
to.
fun for you, and I always say you're great for the game.
You do, and I appreciate that. You know, I told my viewers, you know what the moment was that I knew I made it? Phil Hellmuth told me he might follow me on Twitter. He didn't, but it was the fact he was even considering it. I knew I had done something with my career.
I love it. Well, you know, it's interesting, like people that tweet 5, 6, 7 times a day, which sometimes I'm guilty of. Okay, I'm guilty. But when they tweet 5, 6, 7 times a day, it's harder to follow.
A lot of people.
Right. And you just can't follow anybody anymore.
I know.
I've been guilty myself. Like I suddenly increased my tweets in July. I went to like maybe almost 8 or 9 a day, which feels like a lot to me.
Yeah. But you know what the thing about Twitter is? If you're not tweeting a lot, no one's seeing you. So you kind of got to get out there and you got to tweet. Which
All right, what do you like here? All right, so it looks like, you know, what do you think Tonk should do? Call or raise?
I don't
Nice
really mind
raise.
either play.
I like the raise. Straight draw, flush draw, just 10 high too often, as you know. You just blank it out. So.
And brutal spot for Busquet with middle pair, right?
Yep.
I mean, this is what you don't want to see. This is actually one of the reasons why checking on the flop makes a lot of sense.
Yep, I was just thinking that would be a good spot to check with an 8 there. But I don't mind the bet. To me, that's exactly 50-50.
So I also think Tonka's raise is fine. I think it's a good play. But the problem can kind of be with this hand of, you know, if you do hit your straight, it's a good hand, don't get me wrong. But, you know, you are dead against a bunch of hands, right?
Not that many hands.
But
the
you know,
problem is if
some
you hit your
hands.
flush, now there are, you know, hands that you could easily be beaten by, right?
True.
Like ace, king, queen of clubs you could easily have. I'd feel
Absolutely.
pretty. I mean, you and I would both feel pretty safe if we turned a straight.
Right.
But we don't want to be put the whole 100 in. That's for sure.
Yeah, but you know, you're building a pot, man. You raise the flop,
All right,
you're
that
taking
queen
this
high
pot
straight
somewhere.
flush was good for the hour. We are starting over. Dealers,
point.
make sure you're announcing your high
We had a
hand.
straight flush for the high hand in the background. Tonka going to open up the Jack 8 to, I can't tell, it's a pile of chips, Phil. 10-8 suit, 10-8 suit here for Busquet in the big blind. This is another hand, you know, you could decide to make a move here.
Yeah, and if he does, he's going to win.
He will.
11.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, this re-raise seems a lot better when Tonka doesn't have queens.
No, I mean, I like the fact that he's not just giving up on 3-betting before the flop.
Right.
Obviously, we can see their whole cards, and obviously, you know, it looks like, hey, it's a great
Just want everyone
play.
to know at home.
Great
Even if I
play.
lose to you, it's all right because I already took like 1,200 off you in a cash game today.
Sure.
So there's some positive to today, no matter what.
Lose 50K, win
I wonder
1,200.
what you had that.
Pretty
in.
much the same thing.
Well, not exactly.
I can tell you.
200K or nothing.
What did you have?
That's
well, I don't
true.
really. If I lose
Queen nine of
200,000 a day,
Queen nine of
then
diamonds.
you know
Shit,
whatever.
I
I
was
beat
gonna
you for
check
1,200.
call the river.
Were
Maybe
you?
I should.
Yeah,
I had ace king. I think I should check call the river.
Interesting. Are you gonna call it jam?
I mean, if I check, I don't think I can fold like.
No, I'm saying after your bet, were you gonna call it?
Oh, I don't know.
Quad threes with a
I-
flag.
I was-
How do you know that hand?
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
It's a bit of a silly question, but
I mean, I was thinking about it obviously, but I would have been very not pleased.
yeah.
Ace, King, 10. Busquet get a bet with just no equity here at all. What do you think about this bet, Phil?
I like it. Pedal to the metal, man.
When you have 8-7, don't you feel like those are cards you want your opponent to have?
Yeah, that would have
You
been
bet that
unfortunate.
size, any card over a 10, they're calling, right? So
I'm
I
a
don't
pretty
know.
big,
I'm
pretty big
not
fish,
sold.
so I probably would have called.
Stop. Check.
check, check. Tonka will win unless he folds. I actually think Tonka should be betting this river, Phil. You got Jack high. You can rep an ace. You could rep a king. I think you got to bet.
It's pretty hard to call with Jack high, also, right?
It's very hard to call a Jack high. Unless you're just not buying it.
There's a lot running through Busquet's head. He's like, you
10-5?
know. I think he's
Over
thinking.
bet.
I think the thing about this bet is that I like is he's thinking I can make Tonk fold a 10. You know.
Yeah, he does think that. But what he doesn't know is Tonk is considering this with his Jack high.
Well, Tonk knows that Busquet's never bluffing with queen high here. Never. Why? There's too much equity. Why bluff there? He's never betting a 10. And so it feels to me like an ace or nothing, right? Like you're
No,
not
this
really
is
betting.
this is a 5 or nothing. If he had an ace, he'd bet the turn. He's saying that he turned a 5, checked it back, and then rivered another 5. But now what Tonk is thinking is, okay, if you're saying you have a 5, then Jack high is good if you're bluffing.
Yep.
And he has the 6 of clubs, so 6-5 suited, you know, less likely.
Oh, he used a reveal button. He knew it.
Reveal.
He knew it.
Sorry, I didn't see that you played that.
It's all good.
He got, Phil.
You know, there's one
too
interesting
busy
thing
exhaling.
about the reveal buttons.
I was too busy exhaling.
Do you like
nice.
them? Do you like the reveal button?
I love them. But the interesting thing is when you really, really feel like
I should
using
have
it.
used my reveal on your 4-bet. I'm such a fish. I'm such a
Forgot
fish.
about them?
Completely.
Dude,
I
yeah.
like forgot that these things exist. Oh my god. It's like you just min 4-bet me almost, and I'm just like, I just follow my hand. What do I know? It's like I can just
You didn't
find
need to
out what
use
he
it.
has, you know?
You
Oh,
didn't need to
God.
use it, Busquet. He had queens.
Ay, ay, ay. 8-7. I had a feeling
Did you?
my white magic was perking up.
He
Can
really,
we
he
not let
really
that
did. He
expression
did sniff
catch
something
fire?
there. I'm in the booth, boys. White magic will
11.
catch fire.
Another re-raise with King Jack from Busquet, who is really demonstrating that 3-betting aggressively is going to be a core part of his strategy.
Yep. Are you surprised?
I'm a little surprised.
He didn't do it against you, did he?
Well, I haven't played Busquet heads up in a while.
Okay.
It's been a hot minute.
Okay.
But I think in general, King Jack.
I don't think he'd try it with you because I think you're sticky.
I have my moments, that's for sure, Phil.
You're known as being sticky, so I don't.
Is
think
that what
he'd
you?
try
Is
it
that why
against
when we played you just value bet me to death?
you.
You laughed, but then didn't say anything, so it makes me feel like that. That's what you think. Oh boy. All right, so Ace King 5 here. Both players getting a little something something. Busquet with middle pair.
What is Busquet gonna do here? Like, I like the bet because
I think I like a check.
I like the bet because how much?
5.5.
Because it's a small little bet and it makes your opponent fold when he has 8s, 9s. You just end the pot. You don't have to worry about it anymore. I kind of like that.
Well, but here's the problem, though. Now what? Because now this pot's 33,000. You don't exactly know what you're up against. Ooh, interesting turn here. Now, the really interesting thing to me is, I think that if there was a low brick turn, I think Tonka would clearly have to try and bluff his queen high. But now when he turns the 10, it's going to be pretty tempting to just check the turn after calling such a small flop bet.
Agreed.
On the other hand, he doesn't have too many worse hands.
Well, I mean, considering they put in 11,000 each, it's hard for Busquet to. Oh my God!
3 of a kind.
Wow.
Tonka.
Is this how Tonka was running against me yesterday?
Phil, no tilting today. You're not even on the felt. You're not even playing today. No tilting in the booth.
I just can't help but like. I can't help it. There's a little tilty. There's a little like tilt-a-whirl in there. There's a little bit like, you know.
Okay, so with 33,000 in the middle, Tonka does hit trips. Big river. This is going to be pretty awkward for Busquet. What size do you like here if you're in Tonka's shoes?
12,000, something like that. You really don't
He's going
wanna,
bigger than that.
How much?
because he's thinking that Busquet has an ace.
Well, when you bet here, you're saying you have an ace or a 10.
Well, he's also, I mean, from Tonka's perspective, he's thinking if Busquet has an ace, he's going to pay off 18,000. I'm going to bet 18,000.
Yeah, but it doesn't really look like Busquet has an ace. It looks like Busquet has. Actually, what does it look like he has?
He made it 11,000
It's
ago.
kind of
and then
weird
bet small.
with that small flop
Agreed,
bet, you know?
Agreed. I mean, if Busquet bets big on the flop, this pot would have been over. But I don't blame him for betting small. I kind of liked it.
Well, look where that got him, Phil.
Well, that's randomness. I mean, how often does it come 10-10? Even if it comes a running queen 10, Busquet makes it straight.
I know.
I mean, he's just like, he didn't have that many outs here.
So what do you
know?
like here in Busquet's shoes?
I think,
Tough spot.
yeah, well, not really. I mean, it came ace, king 5. You bet 5,500. Your opponent called. What can you beat? 3-4 of diamonds? Would he have put in 11,000 before the flop with 3-4? You can't beat anything now, right?
Maybe a 5. Maybe a hand like 6-5 of clubs.
6-5 suited, something like that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about it, right?
Yeah, not too many hands for sure.
Forgot to use the
What if you
revealer.
got a hand?
Oh, you,
No.
you didn't care that time.
It's not that I didn't care. I just,
Knew I was beat.
I don't know. I was thinking about moving in. I think I have a reasonably good candidate to do that with, but
What if
But I didn't.
Tonka had a hand like 7s?
36 PLO must move game
Right?
on
You have to
table
call pre.
number
You got to call that little tiny bet on the flop.
Agreed.
And on the river, you're like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to win this if I
Yeah.
check.
Yep.
This was with other players.
Good point.
SK, Benny, Josh
Good hand.
B, Pat P, Hunt, Fred H, Trapper, Duke, and Steph.
See, that felt authentic. There was a moment yesterday where Olivier said, good hand, good call to Deeb.
No, no,
and
no, I
it
don't
felt
wanna
like real feisty. You know, it felt like he said it, and I was like, he does not mean that. You know how you can tell if someone means it or not?
Yeah.
Thinking about moving in, huh?
Well, sometimes I
good
try to.
candidate. I had a good
Sometimes I
candidate.
try to tell somebody a good hand to try to be,
I'm not even gonna guess
Just,
because I
you
don't
know,
want to
to
look
just-
stupid.
because I want to be polite, and then sometimes
Sure.
it comes.
But I can imagine.
Sometimes it comes off as good hand, motherfucker.
Yes, it does.
You're like, was Phil teasing me or complimenting me?
You never know. Keeping your range balanced, if you will. Another button fold here from Tonka.
Yeah.
Now Tonka's out to a little bit of an early lead, 125 to 75. Not quite a 2-to-1 edge, so
Well,
nothing
the blinds are
substantial
up,
yet.
right? Or maybe not quite yet. Yep, 612.
No, it's
I know it's
8-16
I'm
now,
just
right?
gonna give him 3 if I fold and then make my raise otherwise.
Yeah, it's 8-16. They're just being weird
Yeah,
with the
I'd like
blinds.
2 waters, please.
$816. So basically, you're talking about what is that? 50 blinds. 75,000 is 50 blinds, right? A little less.
Yeah, a little less, just like 48 blinds or so. Get a bit shorter already.
Yep.
Ooh, big flop for Tonka. Gutter ball and the flush draw. Busquet, just a little piece. Bottom pair, no kicker.
Yeah, I like this check behind. It's too easy to get raised there. So I like Busquet's check there, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, don't fire and have somebody raise you with, the Jack 5 of hearts.
Yeah, there you go. But they would never have that, Phil.
And now look, Tonk is down to 34%.
Can I get 2 waters, please?
He is, but I don't think Busquet is out of the water here. I mean, he's going to call the turn, but even if Tonka bricks, if he does fire again, it could be a pretty tough spot.
Agreed.
Hey, can you just leave a third, actually, please? Just a third one as well. I'll drink them eventually. Thank you.
Too
Let's
many
see
outs.
if he does, Brian. I'm kind of curious.
Too
to see
many
what
outs.
does happen.
I'm fine, thank you.
Too
Oh,
many
and it's a
outs.
spade. That's a bad card for Tonk because the other draw hit, the other flush draw hit.
This is actually going to.
It's a bad card for him thinking I can bluff and win.
Well, he's not going to bluff anymore because he thinks his hand is too strong.
Jack
Yeah.
high?
He has a pair of 5s.
Oh, sorry, he hit a 5. Good point. Yeah, you're right. He's done. Very good, very good. I agree.
My hand reading is good.
Yes.
I can read their hand and the board.
Check.
Check,
Have a
check.
5.
The
That
silent.
was not a bad. It was a bad card for Tonk.
The
He can't
silent-
bluff. He hit a
silent-
5. He can't bluff.
Yeah, I know.
He can't bluff it anymore.
That's poker sometimes.
He
though.
pretty much knows Busquet's not checking back a 10 on the flop. Probably not an 8. So
I think Busquet will have a healthy number of 8s. Not very likely a 10 though.
yeah,
That's
I
for
don't
sure.
think a 10 very often.
By the way, if you're just joining us, I have a few questions in the chat. This is the first round of 3, best 2 out of 3, in our grand final of King of the Hill. The winner will be walking away with $200,000.
Yes, that's sweet. I did that last month.
37.
Please remind me more about that, Phil.
Okay, here's Busquet. He's already re-raised twice with King Jack.
I think with King 10 though, I think calling is, we're getting in a territory where if you're going to re-raise this, you're going to re-raise so many hands pre-flop.
I agree 100% with you.
Couple pretty good hands here, pre.
Yep.
Queen high board moves Tonka into the lead. Now this is the kind of hand where if you face a bet with King 10, the size of the bet really matters. Against a small bet, you might have to see yourself a turn. You
Yep.
can turn open ender on a jack, a couple gutters, maybe a top pair. But against a larger bet, letting it go seems to be the better play.
Agreed.
And that's the thing that I think a lot of newer players in poker don't think about enough. you don't just want to think, well, what am I going to do against a bet? You want to see how much they bet. Is it a big bet? Is it a small bet? You know, make some changes based around that.
Yep.
8-5 offsuit for Busquet.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Texas Hold'em Central. Sponsored by Doug Polk and Phil Hellmuth.
We're the sponsors. Nice.
Starring Doug Polk and Phil Hellmuth.
And we're the stars. Wow.
No, we're
All right.
rewriting the script.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
We're rewriting the script as we
But
go.
let's not talk. Let's not tell Parker and Olivier. We wouldn't want them to feel bad.
Said
Oh,
14,
there
right?
we go. Tonka made a little move.
Ooh,
With the
getting
9-4
jiggy
of
with the
hearts.
9-4 hearts. And you know what? That loose open, punished by Tonka, dropping the hammer with the 9-4 suited.
Yep. He's like, you know what? He's been 3-betting me. But I'd like to see. It's very interesting to me to see. This is where I like to see, because I thought that Tonka had just a little. He had a little. His reads weren't bad. You watched the match against me, and so.
Yeah, he did okay. There were a few river calls that were kind of light.
Yeah.
Where you were not bluffing that I wasn't a big fan of.
37.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in general he's been pretty on the money. Ace-Jack suited, pretty good hand for heads up, but
Yep.
nothing for Busquet.
So I'd like to see if, because when someone re-raises with nothing, okay, they're either saying, all right, there's a reason why, right? And so then you have to wonder, all right, here's your like, I'm like the Terminator. Answer 1, answer 2, F you, answer 3, whatever.
Right.
It's like
Figure
the
out
Terminator
why.
panel pops up, right? And so you're like, there's 3 decisions, and one of those decisions, again, is the white magic decision. I think he has nothing, and I'm going to re-raise, and that's exists in my Terminator panel.
Right.
So to
So when
speak.
you're playing heads up, do you view yourself as the Terminator sent from the future to destroy
No.
those around you?
No.
Is there like a heads up display that just pops up in your mind?
Yeah, it's like he's weak. There's something wrong. So this is a good time just
It's
to
like
re-raise.
alarm bells, like.
So in our third match, I was really tired, and so sometimes when I'm tired, I read better, and I'm like, all right, he's just weak. I'm going with it. He's just weak. I'm going with it. He's just weak. I'm going with it.
Bet a fold here. It's a good skill to know what people are up to. Absolutely.
Trying to take my money again. I'm ready.
Do we have? Speaking of, there's the Kimosabi Mezcal. Do we have any Kimosabi Mezcal in this casino?
Are we drinking already,
Play
Phil?
fast.
It,
and then
it
you gotta
is,
play as
it
many
is early.
hands versus the worst players. as
I'm
you
ready
can.
for a drink.
All right, let's get this guy some Kimosabi.
I'm tilted because
So
I
in,
mean,
You're
I
not-
feel
you're not
like I'm
actually
what
supposed
I'm
to
actually
be there.
doing is I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah.
very slow.
How can you
Todd, do they have
Those are super
Kimosabi at
values
this
on our net.
casino?
I would just take super long on every decision.
It'd be great for the show, too.
I do. I will say
Really
this. I really do
good
drink my own
show.
stuff. I was at my friend's place the other day, and he had these $600 shots. Here, Phil, have these. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, I know. Here's your stuff. So all my friends' places have bottles of Kimosabi Mezcal.
Wow, they know. The people know.
Well, yeah.
I have to give some credit where credit is due, Phil. You are an excellent promoter. As someone that's new to that game, you really you take it above and beyond the Call of Duty. I have to have some appreciation for that.
Okay.
Another re-raise from Busquet. This time King 10 of diamonds for Tonka.
Right. And I remember Tonka already called with Queen 10 offsuit and won a big pot. So what's he going to do here?
He is certainly calling. I think to
At
lose.
least calling. I don't expect him to go crazy, but he could.
I don't think he's going to go crazy here. I think he's just going to call.
Yep.
He does make the call. And this is the fun part. Huge pot, 2 good hands. The 3 cards that come out now are going to really decide a lot,
I mean, this could be the final hand.
It's a silly game that we play,
Yeah.
Phil.
I mean, right.
If a 10 comes out, that could be that.
Uh-huh.
Queen high board. Great flop for Busquet. Top pair, top kicker. King high, not much going on for Tonka.
Let's see if he can bet the 5,500 again or whatever, like 6K or whatever. Because he's already bet that once, and it looked weak to Tonk. So What do you like him to do? Check ace queen here?
I think you got to bet. I think you want to build a pot. I think you got to charge those flush draws. I think you get to charge if he wants to try and make a light float.
Oh, he bet a lot this time, though, 9,000. Yeah, it's over.
Easy lay down.
You know, I mean, I see. This is my thinking in this spot. Is if you bet 5,500 last time when you had second pair, and you got to the end of the hand, and your opponent doesn't think you had an ace or a king, basically because you folded the river, go ahead and make a similar bet, and maybe Tonk peels with his king 10, or maybe he makes a raise, and you're obviously going with ace queen.
Well, I think
But
what
whatever.
Busquet is thinking on that board is that there are more draws here. That other board was rainbow. This one we got a few more straight draws going on, as well as the flush draw. So I think he wants to bet an amount that charges those types of hands a little bit more.
Well, I mean, you know, so I'd like to see maybe 6K there, or maybe 14K there, or 15K. If he has a draw, he's going to call 14 or 15K. To the audio, do we have, to our audio people, they keep talking about my microphone not being quite as loud. Is there something we can do for that? Just speak up. Okay.
Talk louder is the answer that they gave you, Phil.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's a very interesting answer. Not really the one I was hoping for.
Oh, boy.
I thought they had lots of like stuff back there they can turn Phil's volume up or Phil's volume down or whatever.
Maybe. You got to make sure it's right near your mouth.
Yeah, it's basically on my mouth. So.
You got another centimeter there.
Somebody says it's trolling me anyway. Okay.
They got you, Phil. They
Yep.
got you.
Check.
Huh.
Find this surprising?
Well, it's just, you know, I think Busquet bet the flop and Tonk called here with queen 9
Check.
high, which was a good call.
Queen.
Busquet, come on, man. Fire again.
How did he not fire? He even had a heart.
Oh.
Does it hurt, Phil?
Yeah.
You see, you looked visibly discomfort. What would be the word? You're
Well,
in pain.
I
You're
mean,
in pain.
I mean,
You're suffering.
It comes ace 3-3 and you fire and he peels. Now, if he has two clubs on board, so you know, in case he has a queen high flush draw or a king high flush draw, I like the river bluff there. You know.
Right.
Did they find the Kimosabi Mezcal? Is that what I'm hearing? Yes? Then I'm going to have a Kimosabi Mezcal. I'm going to have a ice cube. So one shot with an ice cube. Thank you.
We'll make it 2.
Yes, we're drinking in the booth. Wow, this.
How can I not? How can I say
wow,
no?
this kid get. Woo!
All right, we got a raise in the call.
Okay, we do.
Good times here. Good times here, Poker Night.
It's a decent flop for Tonka to fire with ace high.
It is. It is a decent flop indeed.
Well, that's a pretty good card for ace high.
It is.
Now
You
you can't
gotta
even
feel
bet
pretty
it.
safe.
Now you can't even bet
Do you
it.
think this time around, Phil, after that last time where he just checked it down without even thinking about it, why are you laughing?
Yes, because the very first hand he should have bet the ace high.
And
You're
he's getting a
referring
chance
to
again.
It.
He's
Yes,
getting a
yes,
chance
yes,
again.
Yes, he better bet but you know, come on.
Oh,
You
man.
can't check this. You have to bet ace high here.
Check.
You're not going to get called.
9.
He's not even thinking about it. He's not actually even thinking about betting his ace high here.
He thought about it. The first time around, he didn't think about it when I was like, you have to bet.
Yeah, I think
He has to bet. I mean, not a lot, you know, I mean, whatever.
especially this ace, by the way, because he does block 3-3 in case the opponent did river a boat.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a better bet, you know. But yeah, you gotta bet. You gotta You just
It's
gotta
one
bet.
thing to not bet the very first hand, but then
Right.
now, come on.
Did you have any
Right.
like precursors growing up to poker, like Magic the Gathering or chess or anything like that? No.
Nothing. I mean, I was always into like games and stuff. Like,
But there was no particular one that you took super seriously as a young kid?
my mom and I went through a phase where we played a crazy amount of backgammon.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
How old were you then?
very young,
Like
maybe
12
like
or something?
9 to 13, something like that.
You were good at math when you were a kid?
Yeah, yeah. I had like a partial scholarship in math when I went to university.
Gonna be honest with you, Phil. I dropped out of college.
Here we go.
Another move.
Tonka
He's got some
re-raising.
moves.
You went to university.
I did 2 years.
So that menu just dropped down. Remember, we were
And
talking about the
then
menu. We were talking about the Terminator
Came
menu.
home.
Right.
That's
Played like
now.
50K
So you have to
and
gather
went back.
evidence and say, all right,
See you
it was
later.
raised with
In the summer.
9.4
Sorry.
and 7.5. So
Um,
both raises were spot on. Because
yeah, I mean, I
one
lost-
had
I lost it
nothing.
all back
So
and
to
almost went
me, then you start
Oh,
to
really?
wonder, you
I
know,
lost like
does
40,
he have some
40 of the
reading
50
ability?
back?
If someone does 4 in a
So
row
I
like
was
that,
ready to go
and their
back until,
timing's
like, a
just
buddy, like,
perfect,
Show me
then
the
they're
ropes.
seeing something, right?
Right.
Got me in a sit and goes,
It's a
actually.
lot. It's
Yeah.
it's
Got me
beyond
to 18-man
randomness,
sit and
right?
goes. I can remember how excited I was to wake up every day and play them. Incredible. Play like 15 hours, then go back to bed and wake up and do it again.
Does he have 7-5 of clubs again?
Again, by the way,
37.
adjust some monitors. No, it's the same hand.
We might have to get a new setup out there on the felt. Raise call.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, every time Busquet opens for 4,500 and Tonkaaaap raises with nothing, that's 4,500 free chips, as I like to say. Every time
Check.
his timing is perfect. It's not easy to have perfect timing.
It's not, but I also do think that the re-raises have been more based around the hands he's had. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this check on the flop with the 7-5. You know,
Agreed.
I think
Fire, fire.
I think
Sure,
you bet.
fire.
You can fire a 4 or an 8. You can fire a club. You can maybe fire a 3 or a 9. Depends how frisky you want to get with those, but you could maybe work it in.
Agreed. Has to
Another
fire.
check. This is actually getting real weird. This is getting quite weird, and he's going to pay the price. He is going to. I don't like how you played this hand, Phil.
I agree. Busquet's wondering, can I bet here, and what would I get called with? Right, he hit a queen.
Do you think maybe he has a different hand than 7-5? Do you think maybe the graphic is wrong? Because then all of a sudden this hand makes a little more sense, right?
I don't know. I haven't been in the booth this trip. I haven't seen any graphics right or wrong.
I have not seen any graphics be wrong so far, but this hand just does not make sense for him to be thinking here with 7 high.
Queen.
Yes, the
You're
graphic
right,
is wrong.
graphic's Yep, graphics wrong. Good
Yeah,
read,
sorry.
by the way. That was good. Well done.
Oh, when he tanks with 7 high, I realized he did not have
yes.
7 high.
No, when he tanked with 7 high, at least I said, all right, he might be thinking about making a move. But
Right.
obviously, when he called with 7 high,
Yeah, I think that.
Thanks.
Now that makes me wonder if he had queens the other time. We had queens and re-raised. We actually, you know what I'm saying?
man,
it was
what
the
if
same
he,
thing.
What if he raised light that hand? That
I
would
know.
Be three
We
for
wouldn't
three.
even know.
That would be
I think
3
that
for
was
3.
a very bad call. That was such a bad river, and that should perceivably be a reasonable river for me. I think.
I wish we knew what he had, Phil, which is something I don't say
No,
often in the
I don't
booth.
Got one.
I think our players are pretty even. I think Tonka might still have a little bit more chips, but I think it's pretty close.
Might be 110 to 90.
Just about an hour here.
Okay, I
to
never
our
got into
first
Chess or Magic. You?
round.
Played
I played chess when I was young, but I never got like super good. I stopped playing when I was relatively young, but I did play competitively for like a few years.
yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked it, but you know, again,
37.
when people say they played chess like when they were young,
Yeah.
they tend to mean that they got like real good, you know.
Yeah.
And I never got like that good.
I mean, if you played competitively,
I made it to the nationals one year.
that's pretty badass.
Yeah, but again, I was young, so like You make it to the nationals
Well,
as a 15
you know, when
it's much different
when
than
I
making
was
it as
young,
like
when I
11.
was young, I used to swim just a little bit.
You know what I mean?
It's better for
Not
15.
really good,
It's
but I
like
made it
The guy who's
really
15
harder
who
for
makes it
15.
is like,
nationals.
that person is just like objectively good.
Really good. Okay.
Amazing.
I got it.
Amazing.
Check.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Okay, we are actually drinking some Kimosabi back here in the booth.
God,
Cheers
this
to our
kid really-
audience.
it's way too early to have some drinks.
You ordered these, and you're already drinking.
Who, me? I did not. Well, Shaun was drinking with me at like an hour or two ago.
The
and
the man's has his Miller Lite. You know how the man likes his Miller Lite. Hashtag one spill Phil. Hey, he hasn't spilled yet though.
Hashtag one spill Phil. And by the way, that comes from Mans. And by the way, he's right. I am
12.
the messiest eater of all time. It's true.
By the way, we got action brewing.
I see. It's a very interesting hand here
Ooh,
because we
what
have
if a
top
6
pair
came? Woo!
versus an open ender with Busquet getting the raise in on the 10-8 deuce board. Busquet with
man.
the straight draw. Now Tonk is in a tough spot here.
We got ourselves a pot brewing, and Tonka's gonna go nowhere with this top
He's
pair.
not folding.
No shot. The real question is going to be what is going to go down on some later streets.
Correct.
Brick turns or heart turns.
An offsuit 6 could end this. Oh,
Now,
that's a bad
That's
card
a
for Busquet.
weird card. And actually, Phil, you know what? I'm interested in your take on this because,
I think he was unlucky to hit a 9, maybe.
well,
Could
it was because it wasn't a 6 or a jack. But, you know,
be. That's not what I mean.
with the
So many cards he could bluff. Now why bluff? He has a 9.
I know.
He can't bluff it anymore.
But it's tough in these situations to operate because when you check and they bet and you call, isn't it kind of obvious what you have? Isn't it very face up?
Oh, and there's a straight for Busquet.
Oh,
You know, when I
man.
started saying "oh" out loud, I thought, "Oh man, they're in the other room." But then I realized we're on a little bit of a delay.
Right.
Phew.
You can yell to your heart's content.
Would
Phil.
really-
The only person you'll annoy is me.
The really interesting thing is, like, you know, I mean, it's I have done that before, where I was playing somebody live on the internet, and there was in the room next door, and they had an audience, and I had an audience, and the other audience just started screaming, and I was
So
like,
you knew they hit something?
like,
Oh my
"He
God.
must have aces."
On the list of reads you've gotten, that one's right around the bottom.
Yes, yes, it's the bottom. We were just messing around. I mean, it wasn't for a
Yeah,
lot of
no,
money,
I
but I mean, it was
understand.
like they all started
17.
screaming. I'm like, well, he has aces.
And this just sucks here for Tonka. This just sucks.
Not really. He is the world's easiest fold now, right? I think a 6 would have sucked for him.
Kind of a weird hand. I also want to.
I mean, it was an unlucky card, no doubt.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
But it doesn't, in the sense of, like, to me, a card that would really suck would be like, you know, a 6-burger that he has to pay
Yes.
off.
Yes, a 6 would have been very expensive. And they're out there actually shining up the belt, getting it ready.
It's going.
I want a
Hey,
belt.
How are you?
I didn't even get a belt, man.
Alright, ones are up 1,000 to 2,000.
Sorry, I'm working on my bracelet collection.
Ooh, nice. Did you look that up? You and I were discussing that
Fuck.
one time. No limit hold'em and pot limit
Fucking
hold'em
reveal.
bracelets. And
Well,
you
I-
thought I was teasing you, but I really wasn't.
God, it's been so long
yeah,
since
yeah.
either one of us used them.
I didn't look up no
What are
limit
the
and pot
numbers?
limit.
What are the numbers?
You have 8 no limit.
Sorry,
Forget my.
seconds.
Just take me out of it. Let's not talk about my ego. Let's just talk about you versus everybody else.
Well, that list includes you, so it's going to be hard to
5,000?
not talk about you on the list.
Okay.
Please give us the list, Doug, but don't include the person with the most no limit bracelets. But anyway,
Okay, listen. All right, folks.
after
this
you-
is not about me. All right, I'm
after
really
you-
good at hold'em. Next.
there. I want to say that I think Johnny Chan has. I think Johnny Chan's one of the next people up. But there are only a few people with more than 3 no limit bracelets.
I told you that,
There's
and
only
you
like
thought I was
3 or 4
teasing
people.
you, and
yeah,
you were like,
no,
"No way."
I thought you were teasing me, but there actually are not very many.
I was not.
There's a
teasing
good
you.
number with 3 though. There's a good chunk of guys with 3.
Check.
There's a guy younger than me with 3.
Who is it?
Adrian Mateos. He played.
Oh,
in,
Mateos has 3 bracelets. Yeah,
he
one of
does.
them. One of them. I wonder, was it a much smaller field event?
I don't know. Might have been a European one. I know how you feel about those.
No, hey, I won the Europe. I won the main event.
I
in
know how you feel about those, though.
WSOPE, so I don't have a problem with, you know. Ooh, 5 on the river.
5 ball on
Threes.
the river. 3s will not win. Phil, I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to bracelets, I have not played many events, and I have run ridiculously hot. That's all I want to say.
Well, I mean, there's two factors there. One, you've been hot. Two, you haven't played many bracelets. So I would tend to focus on I haven't played many events because it is pretty extraordinary. You're really talking about a list of 4 or 5 or 6. How many people have 3 bracelets?
I think a good chunk of people have 3. I think there's like
10?
47.
something like that. Ooh, pocket jacks here for Tonka.
Yep.
Got the jacks, the fish hooks, right?
I like Jack's heads up.
You're getting happy. I'm looking over at Phil. He looks at the jacks, and you can just see the excitement.
I wonder if I like Jacks more than Kings. When I'm heads
What?
up.
I'll take the kings. I'll tell you what. You can have the jacks.
Well, okay, thank you for that. But I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, it's just a personal preference thing, right? Like, obviously, I'd rather have Kings, but see, that's the beauty thing about Jacks.
55.
Leo 10-9 flop. Of course, when you're putting a 7-5 offsuit, done.
All right. Tonka winning a couple pots. For those of you that just joining us, this is the first round. We have not concluded any yet. So best 2 out of 3. The winner will be the new King of the Hill. Shout out to Alan Pav in the chat. Grind Nation member stopping by.
Shine it up.
Does a little streaming right here on Twitch.
I'm out here sham wowing like crazy.
Sorry. So.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
They're really polishing that belt, Phil.
They are. Mine's nice and
5.
shiny.
You got it framed somewhere?
It's sitting on my kitchen counter right now.
Gotcha.
More of in a random place.
Where do you keep all your bracelets?
Well, I have bad news. My bracelet from 1989, the one that I covet, the one that I care the most about, I can't find right now.
Oh my god.
It's been going on for 2 years. Now, I've given every other bracelet away. So my wife has one.
You give them away?
Yeah, gave them all away.
Oh wow.
My wife has one. My sons have one. My parents have one. My 3 sisters have one. My brother. So basically a lot of family members. I gave some bracelets to some friends. Chamath Palihapitiya. You know, Dave
Big
Goldberg.
bet from Tonka, but that, oh wait, no, sorry, not that big of a bet. I will do it.
Nice bet a straight draw.
That's kind of cool to give them away. I haven't thought of that.
Yeah, well, you know, I read something where Magic Johnson gave away all of his stuff, all of his VIP, like his MVP trophies, all of his finals trophies, and I thought, you know, this is so cool, I'm going to do this. Because I'm a family guy. And I kept the main event, but unfortunately, like I said, I can't seem to locate that bracelet. I'm hoping that it turns up in my house at some point, but I'm a little bit concerned because I definitely left it, you know, in a more public area.
Ooh, that seems dangerous.
Now, we have a maid that's been coming for 14 years, the same woman. I'm sure she didn't take pretty sure she didn't take it. But we do have people rotating.
Maybe
through
she
the
said,
house.
I'm going to be here 1 year for every bracelet, right?
Haha.
Phil, use the, by the way, we got my kings. We had your jacks, now we got my kings. The number 14 seems to follow you around a lot.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I was talking yesterday. It was you. I said my autobiography, Poker Brat, the audio version came out like 2 days ago. It's 14 hours long, and you're like 1 for each bracelet. I hadn't even realized that. I was like,
know.
oh yeah, that's good.
Every time you say that, I have to give you a little needle. Okay, so we have a light open here on the button from Tonka with the Jack Deuce off, and he pays the price. Busquet with the 3-bet, and it's funny because when you're in Tonka's shoes and you fold the Jack Deuce, you're like, did he just like go after me and I had the nothing, or like did he have a good hand? So it's funny how such a simple hand can produce such different feelings for both players. No.
Five.
Go.
I'm getting confirmation that Tonk did have pocket queens twice in a row. So it looks like our graphic was wrong exactly once, which
Okay.
I've
cool.
never seen it wrong on the show before. But yeah, I think I'm going to try to find out.
Okay, cool. We are also getting confirmation that the 7-5 hand, where it looked like he was being a massive donk, he actually was. No, I'm kidding. He had a pair of jacks.
Yeah,
Which,
Jack 8 he had, in fact. So he flopped a Jack that hand. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
You and I would have guessed a Jack, probably.
I think
That
Jack
would have
was
been
a
my number
fair-
one guess. Or some kind of ace high.
I actually thought he had more like a bottom pair when he said, I should fold here. A jack is, you know what? Sometimes you just got to call and lose if you lose. And I think a jack, when it goes check, 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 but I think that's just that kind of hand. But we do have a situation here for Busquet, pocket nines. I think he's probably feeling like his pair of nines are good here.
Yeah,
Thinking about going for some value.
he 100% has to bet here. 8,000.
8 it is.
Talk with a snap fold.
Nick for 1-3.
No one's gotten the other person's thousands yet. High commodity.
So I think they're both playing pretty well
I think we
right
should
now.
probably
to
have
me.
a few more.
Do you agree?
Maybe like 20 more.
Yeah, I
each.
think so for
20
sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They both seem
Be a
to be
lot
playing
easier
well.
just to
They're
calculate
pretty
as
deep
well.
in
Not
chips,
that
and
it's
so
difficult, but-
No,
I mean,
just-
you don't want to do anything stupid. I like
Right.
the fact that Tonk has
definitely.
re-raised 3-bet twice with
47.
nothing and picked up some free chips.
Yeah, that was good.
Here we go. But this one's going to be a re-raise in the end.
Yeah, this doesn't have too much potential.
Yeah.
15.
All right, I fold.
That was interesting. Tonk put the chips in and said, I fold. All right, I fold. Meanwhile, he grabbed
Yeah,
a
we
bunch
should
of chips
definitely
and
have
put it
another
in the
stack of
pot.
them.
Maybe he's trolling.
It's also an unreasonable amount of black chips.
Yeah, we don't really use them.
It's more fun though. Have more chips.
Somebody in the chat's asking if Tonk and I had drinks yet, and I told Tonk.
I was
that
going
would
to say
have a
it
drink
makes it
with him
feel like
whether
we're
I
playing
won
for
or
a lot of
lost.
money, but
Same
we,
thing
we
with-
are.
we are,
playing for
we
a
are.
lot of-
And
we are
same
playing
thing
for a lot of
with
money.
Jungle Man.
5.
And we haven't only because our match ended at 2, and basically they stopped serving drinks at 2. So, and I probably wouldn't have started drinking at 1 anyway. I mean, it's
Right. You prefer at 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock sharp right here on the stream.
apparently 7
17
o'clock.
and a half.
I would think you and I, with you, Doug. Cheers.
Cheers.
With you,
Phil.
we could start anytime, right?
Oh, cheers.
All right.
Oh,
But I just like if you're gonna go to bed at 3 or 4, then
I haven't called a single 3-bet in 2.5 matches.
they're asking me in the stream who was more fun to drink with, Tonka or Jungle.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't call one yet, and you
I
didn't call one
imagine they're
versus,
both fun. They're both smart.
versus Deeb.
At all.
Is that what you want in a drinking buddy? Smart.
I like I like conversation. Like I like to have fun. And you're
Hint,
really
hint.
smart. We have fun.
Stop
we have
raising so
drinks,
Yeah.
damn
just kinda
wide then.
joking.
Your guys'
Honking
timing is
angry.
just amazing. It's incredible.
47.
Race 47.
There's a lot of laughing. I like to drink with somebody that's like gonna have fun and
Yeah,
laugh. Here's
yeah.
Busquet's standard 3-bet hand. Oh, it just calls this time.
Yeah, I expect to see more of this from King Jack.
Yeah, agreed. But he made it 11K twice with King Jack.
I know,
on
I
the
know.
3-bet.
But you can see he's doing a bit of both here.
Check.
And top pair for Tonka. King high for Busquet.
I think Tonk could actually
3.
check this.
I agree with you, Phil.
I don't mind 3 because he's thinking he might get called by King High here, and he might get called by King High here.
He's going to get called for this size.
Yep.
As long as he decides to check the turn, I don't mind this line. But you gotta check,
Check.
and hope to. You gotta check and hope to allow things to develop.
Pretty good card for the ace 3 as well. have
Yeah,
open
but
ender.
you know, you have a lot of playability. I like this check.
I agree. Though that might get you a river call.
Yeah, it very well might.
Check.
Yeah, this is where people like to bet, you know, somewhere between 8 and 17,000 even an over bet. But man, 3,000 or 4,000 gets called.
It's an interesting spot.
Uh-huh.
You know, Tonka does have a bunch of hands like eights through kings that Busquet won't ever have because he'll 3-bet them.
Yep.
So there's a bunch of hands that Tonka could have to bet for value, including a few aces.
Too much and got the snap fold.
Does get the fold. And we're back to even. They keep moving around, but they always come right back.
Okay, let's just take the first
I think you
hour
are up
of this
600
match.
chips.
Is that it?
I think so.
60, 80. No, it's got to be more. Unless I've stacked incorrectly.
You
gotta
have
be like
stacked
2K.
incorrectly.
60, 80, 90.
I'm betting on Busquet in this one.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's a ridiculously low amount.
It felt like he was winning more, but meanwhile, he wasn't. Which, by the way, is a bad feeling when you think things are going well and then you realize you
Someone
miscounted.
about
You're
to
like,
have
oh,
a
I'm like
massive
even.
lead.
I don't like that. You're right.
I
Raise
had a
call here?
reasonable lead at one point.
Oh, you did,
What,
yeah.
what,
No, you
I don't
130
like
to
it when,
70 or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
Yeah,
no,
when
you
you
did
think
for
you're ahead a lot and you look down and you're even.
Yeah, not the best feeling.
No.
All right, so we got King 9-6, middle pair for Busquet. Backdoor up flush draw for
I like
Tonka.
the check back.
Yeah, check. Now it's kind of heating up a
Tonka
little
might
bit.
bet the little 6K, or now we check because he has ace high. He doesn't have to bet like,
It's got some showdown value.
yeah. Queen 7 he might have to fire with, or Jack 7. But
7.
Busquet trying to get a little thin value. What do you think about a check raise here, Phil?
I mean, it would be some kind of a superstar. I would have to feel like my opponent had nothing. And that's one of those spots where, you know, white magic opens up a few more moves, right?
I check raised almost this exact spot against Tonka today, and he had a king, and he called me, and then I put him in on the river, and he called me again.
Wow.
Almost this exact board, a little bit different.
Wow.
Excuse me. I think I like a check raise, though.
7.
Some of the time, anyway.
Well, you're pretty aggressive. You're pretty aggressive.
What was it? What accent? Is that Russian?
And there it is.
I mean, I don't even know.
Commanding lead.
I like that.
I was
heard
born
that from a
right
long time
here-
ago. You're aggressive.
Right here in the old U.S. of A. I'm your standard red-blooded American. I like steak and potatoes, beer,
Sushi?
and football. I like sushi too.
Expensive whiskeys?
I might like some. Phil, you're making me look bad.
Well, you're trying to claim the red-blooded American card, and I'm just trying to, you know, if you're going to claim it in front of me, I have to let the truth run out.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
You
But
think a lot of red-blooded Americans go to, you know, go to watch the Dodgers Cubs play
47.
and sit like on like
probably not.
in the second row?
That was you, not me.
You were like in the fourth row. What's the difference?
Oh, I was actually right down the first baseline. I had the corner seats behind the first baseline there.
Okay, so you had great seats.
Yeah. But I wasn't. You know, I was in the first row.
I sat behind Magic Johnson, so I was in the second row.
Oh, are we gonna have a big time off right now?
No, what I'm
Are you
trying
gonna
to say,
big time me
what
and I'm
trying
gonna have
to
to big
say-
time you?
What I'm trying to say is you cannot claim normalcy.
I know.
Normal red-blooded American has flown by you. It's out the window.
It was
gone.
pretty amazing that I went to that Game 6. Cubs win the pennant. I'm leaving Wrigley, and I just run into Phil Hellmuth right there
That
in the
was
street.
really weird. Yeah.
Ooh, 10 on the river
Look
for
at
Tonka.
this. He had the best hand before the flop. Then he had the best hand on the flop. Then he had the best
No,
hand. on the turn.
you.
And
No,
then
you.
he had the best hand on the river. How many lead changes are possible in one hand? We've
Well,
seen
4.
it. And we've seen all 4.
6.
6,000 from Busquet.
Tonka is going to call quickly.
He might be considering a raise,
Ace.
but does make the call.
That's it.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see that Busquet had bet. Yeah. Right.
So what's up? What's up next for you, Phil?
He should be considering a raise.
After King of the Hill,
I should
where are
be
you headed?
considering a raise there.
Yeah.
Blinds are up.
After the King of the Hill, I'm headed, well, tomorrow, as you know, because you invited me to the Pittsburgh Steelers game. And I thought when I saw on the schedule, I knew I was
Should I
coming there a
raise?
month ago. And I thought, all right, let's see who they're playing. Because, you know, I
Should I
told
raise?
them I could only play on these dates in Pittsburgh.
No, I don't
So they
think
moved the whole tournament for me, right?
Which was nice.
Right, which was nice, but also
Well, it's part of the point of
kind
that bet. I think it's
staying
a
home
large
was
enough
my
size and
number one
represents
priority. But I said, all right, if you can do it
that
exactly
you're a bit-
then, I can do it on my way to
It's
Europe.
super tough to, yeah.
And so, and then they're like, all right, we'll do it. And by the way, the
my turn.
Steelers, the casino will give you some Steelers tickets or whatever I was hearing. And then I looked who they were playing, and it was the Jaguars. And I was like, all right, here are my choices. World Series of Poker Europe, where I fly to Prague. And if I leave on the 8th, that's tomorrow, Sunday, if I leave, I can play in an event on the 9th at the World Series of Poker Europe. 6-handed, no limit, $600 buy-in, 1K buy-in, whatever it is. It's just kind of fun for me. Or I can watch the Steelers crush the Jaguars. Well, unbeknownst to me, the Jags have a pretty darn good team this year. No one saw that coming. So then I was like,
Not even
all
the
right,
Jags.
Right, not even the Jags. So I booked my, I booked my flight and so I'm heading off tomorrow.
Gotcha. Well, good luck out there.
That's my hashtag right there. Sick brag, bro. I like that. You got to own it if you do it, right? So yeah,
Hashtag PH nice-
when are
nice
you
life.
going? When are you going to Prague?
I'm not going to Prague.
Really? Not going to play in the one drop?
No, I don't really want to go to Rozvadov. I don't really travel too much internationally, and I don't really have too much interest in going to the Czech Republic. Heard good things, but
Did you? Were you at the
Prague,
World
man.
Series?
I heard Prague's amazing.
I've
It's
heard
the
that
first
too.
year that I played more than just the main event.
Oh wow. But you didn't play the heads up.
No.
No.
What even is it?
The 10K.
10K?
Yep.
No, I did not. 55?
Queen 4 and Jack 3. Some not so strong hands here.
I assume you did.
Yeah.
How did it go?
It went pretty well. I lost to Ryan Reese in the quarters, I guess.
Okay.
Like I cashed and then
Yeah, I
won
didn't
more
get to
than
play that.
Or maybe yeah.
It's weird. I've played in one
Check,
heads-up
sorry.
tournament series in like 4 years. And I'm very frustrated because, I mean, I think heads-up is one of my best skills, but it
35.
just hasn't worked out. I'm deep in other events. But I'm not going to miss this. I'm not going to miss any WSOP heads-up this year. I'm gonna
I
find a way to
love that
take a day
tournament,
off.
Phil. It's one of my favorite tournaments that there is. It's such a fun tournament.
I used to go deep, deep, deep
Reese
every
thought Hellmuth
year.
was a big
I
favorite
finished
versus me.
second one year.
Really? How do you know that?
And Timex as well.
Timex put you as the dog?
Not on his site, obviously, because to the masses, like they'll think I have an edge. But Timex tweeted asking for action on you and Hellmuth at evens. Like if you take both.
I don't think that implies that.
Yeah, maybe not. But Reese replied to it with like really going out on a limb there, basically saying that like that Hellmuth and you were like the obvious favorites.
Again, I'm not sure that implies necessarily that. I mean, I don't know. But
Sean Deeb getting
It
thrown
could
under
just
the
be
bus
that-
right there. It's gonna better be a big bus.
That they
Now you're picking on
We are
Shaun. Now you're
underpriced.
cooking with. Now you're cooking with gasoline, Doug.
So
maybe.
I don't know, but maybe
my
it's
style,
that
Phil.
like the Hellmuth price is specifically a bit inflated because a lot of people overestimate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the shark can like take advantage
55.
of
Race 55.
We're on even stacks again. Kind of where we always end up.
Man.
But at least Ryan's willing to go after, he's willing to bet his opinions. So I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that. Check.
Yeah, bust him in the Barcelona 10K. 35.
That's 35.
That was good fun.
Check.
Jack on the turn here picks up a gutter for Busquet.
Now you flopped it.
Oh, I'm sorry. What am I talking about?
9 burger.
That's how straights work.
Yeah.
Got anything big for the rest of the year, Phil? Do anything for the holidays?
Well, that's a month I'm spending over in Rosvedov.
Oh, a full
And
month. Wow,
yeah,
that's a real commitment.
Right, and the 9th, which is Monday, is a tournament, a World Series of Poker circuit event where they're giving away a ring. And so I never get to play in those, so I thought that would be fun,
But also, you don't really want to play in those because you can't win a bracelet.
Well, if I'm over in Rosvedov anyway. So this is what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to show up to the World Series of Poker Europe early. Late. So, so the last time
Late
I did
or
that,
early?
I didn't want to show up late.
Okay.
So what I did when I showed up to the last one was 2 years ago in Berlin. I flew in the day before. We were at Daniel Negreanu and I were supposed to shoot a commercial for Geico. It was going to be this
like
awesome
110, right?
commercial. And the NFL, I think,
Yes.
might have vetoed it, which was very shocking and
109
surprising to me.
NFL?
something like that.
Well, rumored the NFL might have vetoed it. It was a Geico commercial. It was going to be me and Daniel.
Oh, because of gambling?
At a final because of poker, which was really frustrating because, I thought we were through this shit.
Oh, that sucks.
Right, so imagine you're cutting to a final table and they say the top pros in the world are really having trouble reading this guy, and then they cut to the Burger King guy with his
18?
mask on.
That's what
With a
happened?
mask. No, I'm saying this was the commercial. It was
Oh, I see.
beautiful. Can you imagine this? The top poker players in the world are having trouble reading this newcomer, and they cut to Burger King guy with his plastic mask. Of course we can't read him. He has a plastic mask. And then, ooh.
Got a big pot developing, actually. Queen Jack suited for Tonka, 10-9 of spades for Busquet. Open 3-bet call. We've already got 36,000 in the middle.
18,000 each in there. Here we go. Anyway, can you imagine this commercial, how great it would have been? And so because of that, I didn't fly 7 days over early. And then they didn't shoot the commercial. Wow, what a flop for Busquet.
Huge flop for Busquet.
Jeez.
Trips. Now, Tonka might be inclined to take a couple stabs here. Obviously, unless Busquet has exactly a 10.
Well, I give Tonka credit, and I'll tell you why. It's the third time that he 3-bet when he had the best hand. You don't always 3-bet with Queen Jack, and he pulled it off, and he also did it with 9-4, and he also did it with the 7-5 of clubs.
True. But I think with Queen Jack suited, it's just such a strong hand. I think he's going for a little value. Now, Busquet's job here is to try and seem as weak as possible and sucker his opponent into firing more streets.
Correct. Well, obviously Tonka does not want to hit a queen or a jack.
Oh, man.
Wow,
Tonka
what a
picks
bad-
up a gutter now.
Yeah, but it's not live. A 9 busts him.
A 9 would be absolutely devastating.
9 and
You're
it's
enjoying
over.
that. You're enjoying the idea of a 9 here.
No, well, I'm not. No, I'm not rooting for or against anybody. But
It would just be fun to see a 9 in the stripper. Well, anyway, in Tonka shoes here, what do you think, Phil?
well, it's a tough spot for him, right? He re-raised before the flop, and he bet 10K, which didn't tell him a lot.
17.
So here he goes again, 17,000. I can't blame him for the bet.
I gotta say, it kind of looks like he's getting ready to unload the clip.
I don't blame him for betting here. Of course, everybody at home can see that, that he's beat. But
When Olivier calls the turn, what do you think is going through Tonka's mind?
well, so when he called, 10K didn't tell him enough. So if Tonka would have just bet bigger on the flop, he would have learned a lot, right?
Right.
But basically, Busquet's peeling with a lot of ace highs and king highs. for 10,000 with 46,000 in the pot. So we didn't learn enough by betting too small. Oh, smart just call.
I think you have to call on Busquet's shoes. You know, you got to give him an opportunity to bluff. If he's got an overpair, you're getting the money anyway. If he has a hand like this, you really want him to get to see a river, right?
Yep.
River bricks. Nothing has changed.
I'm all in.
All in.
You got it.
All right, club threes with a 5 was good for that hour. We are starting over. Dealers, make sure you're
And that will be our
Check
first
return.
round.
God, why didn't he bluff it off to me yesterday?
You had me covered, right?
No tilting
Definitely
today,
so.
Phil.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
tilting.
90.
You could only tilt yesterday. That's going to do it here for our first round. Busquet moves out to an early 1-0 lead. He will now only have to win one more round to become our current King of the Hill champion belt holder and try and pull a repeat title that no one has yet managed to accomplish here in the show.
Emptied the clip.
Isn't that right, Phil? No one has done that before.
Done what?
Managed to defend their title on King of the Hill.
Ouch. I mean, that was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
directly aimed at me.
Welcome back. We are here after the first match. I am joined, unfortunately, well, fortunately for me, but unfortunate for you, with our loser, Tonkaaaps. What happened out there? This guy's undefeated.
He's pretty good at the game, you know. I made a questionable bluff on the end. I don't know.
You seem very dejected right now.
I'm a bit sad, but I mean, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna win the next two. This will happen with Phil, you know. It's fine.
All right, we need Team Never Not Lucky to send all your smiley emojis to Tonka. We need to lift his spirits. You battled back last night after getting down in
Like
a
I
hole.
said, you know, we're gonna do it again. I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
Okay, all right, excellent. Is there anything exploitable in Olivier's play right now? What do you need to do to change gears and take this man down?
It's very simple, actually. Like, it's really, really easy. I just have to get good cards. That's it.
That's the thing I keep hearing.
If I just get good cards, I'll be good to go, you know?
Excellent. So that's the moral of the story. There is no skill in this game. It's just whoever gets the good cards. So we're gonna flip in the next match, see what happens. Hey, I appreciate it. I have faith in you. You're gonna battle back. All right.
I got this.
Let's get the man Olivier over here. My O-ring game is off right now. Dude, you're undefeated. You can't be beat. 2-0. I'm gonna have to get that broom out again. Are you feeling the sweep?
I don't know about feeling a sweep. I mean, honestly, like, obviously I ran good yesterday, and I ran good again today. I mean, I had said before the last hand that I hadn't called a single 3-bet. So that was the first 3-bet I called, and I just flop trips. So, and then I get a turn card for him to barrel. So, I mean, that's really fortunate. And obviously, like, I think I'm playing, like, pretty well, but I'm running really well, so I'm hoping it continues. I just need one more game.
Nice. Do you want a celebratory vape right now?
No,
Are you sure?
that's not my style. Yeah,
All right.
it's all you.
Can you smell the belt though? Can you smell it?
It's honestly, the belt is such an awesome benefit. Like,
No, I mean, can you literally smell it?
No, I don't. No,
Okay, I guess
no,
he
I don't
can't
know.
smell the belt. Dude, but this is what you're playing for.
Yeah, I know. No, it's very cool, and obviously it's a lot of money. So hopefully I can finish it out.
All right, I want you to just kind of speed this up because then we're gonna go out on the town tonight, right? We're balling out.
Yeah, drinks on me.
Drinks on you?
I mean,
Bottle service?
if I win, drinks on him if he wins.
Okay, all right. No, but we want you to win, all right?
Cool.
You got this. You got this.
All right, let's
all
go.
right, good luck, dude. I'll
Thank
get the
you.
broom ready.
Thank
All
you.
right, that is it for this first match. We're going to be back with our second match in a little bit. We're going back to the booth. King of the Hill 2. It's the finals.